Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley. Joining me for a second week in a row from Pigtown Sports, he is Zack Moore. Zack, good afternoon. I think I said good morning, everybody. That's how I'm used to, and that's how I'm used to starting the show for now 5.5 years. So year 6. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. Zack, how you doing today, man? We're definitely happy that you could join us for a show today. I know it's 2 weeks in a row, but it's an important show. It's the last one before opening day.
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm dealing with some kind of cold or something. My voice is like gone, randomly. So I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
But no runny nose, none of that stuff. So I have no idea what's going on. Allergies, sickness, who knows?
You sound the same to me, man. You sound good. So
that's good.
Glad that you're roughing it and getting through it and joining us for the show. Like the hat, man. That's cool. Just have those made?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I just got one made.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I just wanted to test it out because the shipping was ridiculous price.
Gotcha. You think about selling them to the masses?
We'll see. If people are interested, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
It's a cool hat. I like it. I'd buy one. So, all right. Well, welcome into the show. Today's show brought to you by Classic 5 Golf. Do you want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun instructional programs for the beginner golf to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at BaltimoreGolfAcademy.com. Zack, enroll today. We can get out there. You said you live like what, 7 minutes from the golf course?
I nope, can't pick up another expensive hobby. Can't do it.
Yeah. All my hobbies are expensive. $110 a month for the gym. Go play golf. Play baseball. Yeah, man, definitely some expensive hobbies there. But you know what? Another expensive hobby going to baseball games. If that's your thing. We're 4 days away from the season opening day coming up, and we're just 8 days away from the home opener. And with that in mind, the Orioles, they added to their pitching depth this past weekend, signing Kyle Gibson for $5.25 million. If you recall, Kyle Gibson won 15 games for the Orioles in 2023, was a veteran presence that staff sorely needed in that 101-win season. He did pitch to about a 4.79 ERA, though, that year, and that's because in the second half he got roughed up in I feel like it was like 4 or 5 starts in a row where he just couldn't get anybody out. But look, the Orioles are added to their pitching depth. They signed Kyle Gibson. He's going to start an extended spring training to get ramped up. Here's the thing, Zack. What does this mean for Grayson Rodriguez and Cade Povich? Because I don't think that they're signing Kyle Gibson and giving him $5.25 million to not be a part of this roster.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even if he's in the bullpen, $5 million in the bullpen nowadays is decent. I don't think he's going to be in the bullpen just because of what he can give you as far as innings go. I don't think they send him in AAA. I mean, it's a big league contract. I don't really know. I think Povich has definitely earned himself the right to pitch. I would hope they don't go back on that and send him down or something like that. What's the status of Grayson? That was the first thing I said was, we were told Grayson was playing catch, and literally 5 hours later, Gibson was signed. Is there more to it? But, they did say that, this has been in the works for a couple weeks. That's fine. You can never have enough pitching. Part of me wonders, what if Dean Kramer goes to the bullpen? Like, could you imagine Dean Kramer? Today. Yeah, Dean throws 96, 98 when he comes in for one inning. Could that be your setup man? The home runs have dropped every year. He's not really a home run liability anymore. I don't trust anybody else to be a closer. Not a closer, a setup man. Why not Dean?
Yeah,
Dean's a bulldog.
Dominguez has been getting lit up. Gregory Soto, how much can you really trust him after what we saw when he first got over here last year? Brian Baker is going to make this squad, and
I don't know if he is because they just said Matt Bauman's making the team.
Yeah, that's true. They did transfer Tyler Wells to the 60-day IL and sign Matt. Is it Bowman or Bauman?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I have no idea. You say Bauman, I say Bowman. Potato, right? Well, they did just add him to the active roster, which means he's going to be on the ball club.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, Brian Baker doesn't have any options left. They're not going to sneak him through. Somebody's going to pick him up. Have we seen the last of Brian Baker in Baltimore?
I think they're going to try as best they can to keep him around, just like they did with Bauman.
Mm-hmm.
Who was some of the other guys over the years? They always try. When a guy throws hard, it's not a guy you want to just throw out on the street. I mean, they picked up Felix Batista off the street. That's a once in a lifetime thing because he was so bad with the Marlins.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen often. And Baker's not like so bad. Like he would get picked up immediately.
Yeah.
You know, my worst fear is like remember when Evan Phillips was just okay here, not
Mm-hmm.
great, not bad, goes to LA, pretty damn good now.
Yeah.
Brian Baker going to Seattle, where they would fix him. That would be probably their fear.
Well,
I think I'm with you. I've seen enough of him.
yeah, I've seen enough of Brian Baker. Now here's the other question: Dominguez has not gotten good results. I know he's under contract. I think it would be an $8 million hit.
Yeah.
Are they trading him? Are they going to DFA him and eat that $8 million? Can they really trust him in their bullpen? Now look, my father-in-law, he's not nobody in the scheme of the world, but when it comes to baseball and all that, he's not like a scout or anything like that. But he was down in spring training, and he said that he overheard Drew French talking to Dominguez saying, "Hey, work on the sinker, work on the sinker, work on the sinker." So maybe it was just something that he was working on. He gave up a home run in his last outing, and then got everybody else out after that. I don't know, man. There's a lot of question marks regarding this pitching staff as we head into the regular season starting on Thursday. I cannot believe we're only 4 days away. It feels like it was just yesterday we were doing our winter meetings preview show, and now we've got opening day right around the corner. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen as far as I think Kate Povich has done enough to earn that fifth starter spot
in the
rotation. I don't think they're going to take Dean Kramer out of. I mean, if they put him in the bullpen, I would be all for it, but I don't think they're taking him out of the rotation because he can get you quality innings. But Suarez got absolutely lit up in his last outing. That final game is usually supposed to be your final tune-up before the regular season. You're trying to put up a good showing. His last outing, he gave up 8 earned runs in 4 2/3 innings against Detroit, 7.89 ERA in 6 games, covering 21 2/3 innings pitched. Suarez, what are they doing with him? Is he going to the bullpen? Because you can't. I mean, I guess you could make him your fifth starter, but it wouldn't be justifiable.
Yeah, no, he's definitely going to the bullpen. They said Cave was the number 5. Now they didn't say who the number 4 was, but I don't think Suarez would jump Dean Kramer in that instance. I mean, Suarez he's a Swiss Army knife, and we pray that, and same with Dominguez, that they're just gamers, and it's really hard to get up for a spring training game. I get it, and they are working on stuff. I read a quote from Drew French today talking about some new pitch that Felix has, and he says apparently it comes down from the heavens. I mean. So yeah, when they are trying to work on something, and we saw it with Grayson, they only do that. And if Soto is only throwing that sinker, and it's not really sinking, I could see probably getting hit pretty hard because then you're kind of just throwing a meatball up there.
Mm-hmm.
And the same with Suarez. I mean, if he's working on something a little bit different, they're going to just work on that. It's spring, it doesn't matter, And I'll be completely honest. You're facing not major league hitters most of the time in spring training. These kids don't care. They're young. They look for a fastball. And if you're working on something, to move your fastball a little bit more, that's all they're looking for. So they're going to hit you a little bit harder than normal. If he was working on a changeup or something like that, that's totally different. That was just getting pounded. Hey, throw that thing out of here. I'm a little nervous about it just because of his age. He was so good last year, but at, what is he, 36, 37?
I think he's 35 now. I
35.
think it was 30. I think he'll turn 36 during the season.
Okay, so I mean that's about on par with our entire starting rotation. So
right,
it's
and half the bullpen.
It gets a little dicey because you don't know. Okay, is he hitting that wall and falling off, or is it just spring training trying to work on stuff? That's the big question that as fans when we look at it now. Drew French obviously sees something completely different, so we always have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like if this was 2 weeks ago, okay, he's working on stuff. It's his final tune-up for the regular season. I mean, we saw Tarek Skubal go 6 innings the other day. Dean Kramer pitched a 6th inning today himself. We see now, but we also see like stars like Charlie Morton and Zach Eflin only going 2-3 innings in their final tune-up. So
Mhm.
it makes you wonder what exactly is going on there. And again, you don't put too much stock into spring training, but it's the last one before you come north. You kind of want to put up a good showing to instill confidence. And it doesn't matter if you instill confidence in me or Zack Moore on, March 23rd. Are you instilling confidence in your coaching staff, in your teammates? You're the guy, So I guess we're just going to have to see how this all plays out. Today's show brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Now, Zach, you said, these kids that are in spring training that are probably not going to make the ball club, they don't care if you're working on stuff. They're going to be swinging for the fences. Orioles threw a combined no-hitter yesterday. Would be a lot cooler if it was in the regular season, but a no-no is a no-no. Is it actually a crazier and more impressive feat because you have so many different pitchers doing it, facing so many different hitters? I mean, you might see 17, 18 different hitters over the course of a single game in spring training.
I think it's pretty cool because not only did you have 7 pitchers do it, you had different catchers, and everybody was kind of in sync. It makes it so hard. I mean, when you're in the regular season, you have every freaking detailed stat you could think about of who is coming through 1 through 9. And Gary Sanchez and Adley knows, which shoe this guy puts on first every single day. It's that in depth. When you get into spring training, you don't know anything about any of these guys. It's just like, hey, let's go up here and work on something. And then you just start carving these guys up because you're just so in sync together as a battery between catcher and pitcher with 7 different guys. That to me is really impressive. And then to have a guy who only pitched in Delmarva last year to come out and close it, like that's really cool in my opinion. And that's his natural. I love Riley Cooper, and I hope we see him in Bowie this year because the dude's nasty. He's got a lot of run for 93 from the left side. I don't care what his weight is. Like, let's get past that and move him up.
Right. Well, the no hitter, I was moving all day yesterday. So even though the game was televised, I didn't get a chance to watch any of it. But seeing that they threw a no hitter was definitely something that was cool. And I was talking to my buddy who was helping me yesterday, and I said, what would be the football equivalent of throwing a spring training no hitter? And we were like, somebody throwing for 8 touchdowns in the preseason, or a 300-yard receiving game, or a 250-yard rushing game in spring training. What do you think would be like the football or basketball equivalent of a spring training no-hitter?
I would say probably rushing for 200 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard thing to do in itself. But yeah, probably 200 or 200 receiving or something like that.
Yeah, because no-hitters, I mean, a perfect game is much more rare than a no-hitter. You get a couple of no-hitters every year. I think there's been like over 300 in the history of baseball. So like, it's not the rarest feat, but it's still a really cool and pretty rare feat to accomplish. So I guess like in the NFL, if you were to rush for 200 yards, you probably get 2 or 3 200-yard games a year from anybody in the NFL. So yeah, I can imagine that would be something similar. You just mentioned that we know that Cade Povich is going to make the rotation. That it was announced he has a rotation spot. I didn't see that today. Awesome that he is going to be joining the starting rotation. What I did see today is that Gunnar Henderson is not going to be ready for opening day, which the writing was kind of on the wall when we saw that he didn't play in the game on Thursday, didn't play Friday, didn't play yesterday, didn't play today. They say he was hitting on the field, doing simulated games on the backfields, but the fact that he didn't get back into a Grapefruit League game kind of the writing was on the wall. He's not going to be ready for opening day. He will go on the IL, which means he has to miss at least the first 7 games of the year. How do you feel about that? Does it make you worry? And then who's going to hit leadoff for this team with Henderson starting the year on the IL?
I'm not that worried about it. It's April or March. Yeah. I mean, one in March and then in April. If I lose Gunnar Henderson for seven games in April, cool. Like, whatever. There was no reason to rush it back. I understand April is a very tough month. The schedule is not favoring the Orioles, but again, like, if Gunnar has to miss time in April and he's healthy the rest of the year, cool. I don't care. Especially, I want Gunnar Henderson healthy against everybody, but later in the year when he's definitely healthy, and then you're not playing as hard of a schedule, then he really eats. Instead of him kind of having something that lingers on, almost till June or something like that. It doesn't bother me. Lead off, throw whoever there. Kowser, Westberg, Mullins, if you want to go down that road again, whatever. Adley probably could do it. I mean, he seems like he's pretty locked in with the eye right now. He could probably throw Jackson there for all I care. Like, he's going to be your leadoff hitter at some point this year. Just throw him into the fire. Why not?
Yeah.
You've left him at shortstop, which I kind of touched on that today, and I caught a little bit of flack about it, but why is he staying at shortstop? I don't get it. If it's only 7 days and Mateo is presumably healthy, right? Mateo was playing second today. He struggled at second last year. Jackson did. Wouldn't you want to get him the absolute most reps possible at second base? Like, if Gunnar's only missing 7 days, like, why isn't he playing second every day? Let Livian Soto or somebody else play shortstop. It's only 7 days. Mateo, for all we care. Let him work into shortstop as a secondary position, like you say it's going to be. But I just don't understand that logic. Like, you've now taken almost 2 weeks of reps at second base away from this kid who's supposed to be your everyday second baseman. And for what? Is there an ulterior motive to this that we don't see? Like, I asked, and it's not my opinion, I literally asked, are the Orioles showcasing Holiday as your shortstop? I don't know. There's not many answers as to why he's playing short over second right now when he's supposed to be your everyday second baseman.
Birdland Sports Zone replies, and I think I might agree with him on this one. It's because he's not just missing 7 days.
Maybe.
I kind of agree with that. I don't know if that's why Jackson Holiday is playing at shortstop more frequently now. But I don't think that Gunnar Henderson's coming back after the first 7 games. I think Gunnar Henderson's probably going to miss the first half of the month, not the season.
That's still fine for me.
Yeah, I think
Mateo's better than Holiday at shortstop.
He is.
Why are we still flirting with this little experiment? I understand he came up as a shortstop. He don't have the arm strength for it.
He doesn't. He absolutely doesn't. Well, and I have maybe that's something that was I don't know. It's such a stupid thought probably, but maybe it's something that's in his contract that if Gunnar isn't playing shortstop, Jackson should. That's like that would be a stupid addition, but I have no idea what the benefit of putting Jackson Holiday at shortstop is unless they're being forced to do it is why I quipped that because I saw him back up on a ground ball at shortstop in a game the other day, and it looked terrible. It didn't look like he was comfortable there. Then I saw him run it, and he threw the ball away. Then I saw him run in on a ground ball that he had to kind of lay on the run, and it looked like he almost closed his eyes when he went to field that short hop and just happened to get it into his glove. I honestly couldn't tell you why he's playing shortstop so much. Now, look, they did say that Jorge Mateo has not been rolled out for opening day yet. He played pretty frequently this past week, and he's going to get some more simulated game action the rest of this week. I think they're banking on him being ready for opening day. We know Felix Bautista, they announced that he's going to be ready for opening. He's going to be on the opening day roster, so that's good as far as those injury updates are concerned. But Gunnar Henderson, tough blow for the team. Not sure who's going to hit leadoff. Honestly, the way Jackson swung the bat this spring, and it wasn't just him pulling some balls against some lousy pitchers. I mean, he was spraying the ball all over the field, hitting power, getting on base, stealing bags. I wouldn't mind seeing him hit, and you and I agree, he's going to be their leadoff hitter by midseason.
Right.
I wouldn't mind throwing him into the fire now, seeing what he can do from the leadoff spot. I think it's likely to be Colton Cowser leading off just because he's a good hitter. He gets on base. I'm actually, from what I saw from him this spring, I expect Colton Cowser to have a really solid season.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see his batting average jump over 20 points just based on the way I saw him handle the breaking ball and off-speed stuff this spring. He looked really good to me. So Henderson going on the IL and having Jackson play shortstop when honestly you couldn't convince me that Jordan Westberg isn't a better shortstop right now. The arm strength's there. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But
that was my point today. I just the guy, if he played a good second base last year, sure, whatever, get him some reps because you're going to need him in the regular season. But like, to me, that only means two things or three. Gunner's either out for a while, and you trust Holiday over Mateo, which is fine if they think that. Mateo's the odd man out, and Jackson needs to be the backup shortstop for the whole season, or they're showcasing him. And I know it's really odd to hear, but if he brings back the right package, how can you say no?
Oh, man, Zach, I would be absolutely devastated.
I think a lot of people would, but it depended on the package.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be a Paul Skeens level type of pitcher.
Yeah, look, what if Skubal was like, I'm not re-signing here?
Mm-hmm.
And then they send Reese Olson and Skubal over.
Yeah, I mean,
that you can't say no to that.
It would be an absolute blockbuster of a trade. And even then, I'd be happy to have those guys. But seeing Jackson go hit 320 with 30 bombs,
I don't think they're going to do it. It's just, it's you gotta think about it. Like if he's playing out of position for a reason,
unless they just fully believe that he's just so damn athletic that they can put him at shortstop and he's going to be like a duck on water, but maybe not a duck on water. But he's going to be like what's the cliche that I'm thinking of here? Like a pig in slop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's just going to take to it. Like.
Do you think that there's any chance whatsoever they bring Gunnar back and put him at third?
No.
Neither.
No. Because one, I think they want to re-sign him, and I think that I know that Gunnar considers himself a shortstop. And I think this is Gunnar's team. Just like when they put Manny at shortstop in 2018, and it was like, look, this is we knew that they were showcasing him, but two, it's when Hardy was hurt, Manny played shortstop. It was because when you don't have JJ Hardy, it was Manny's team, and so Manny's going to play shortstop. Gunner's going to play shortstop for the Baltimore Orioles if he's healthy, and Westberg has proven to be a really solid third baseman.
Yeah,
I think but I just. It's a head scratcher. They must really believe that the Holiday's so athletic that he's just going to take to playing shortstop at the big league level. What I saw from the one game that I saw on TV of him playing shortstop, I was like, ugh, a bad throw, a bad back step on a ground ball instead of playing the hop, and then just like an Olay looking the other way, catching a ball on a short hop. Like it was.
And that's my point. Like you're going to see that at second base again because at that point, it's going to be almost 4 weeks that he really hasn't taken game action ground balls at second base.
Yeah.
It's going to be ugly when it goes back, all because of what?
It might just be as simple as we really believe that Jorge Mateo is going to be ready for opening day, but if he's not, we want to keep Westberg at third base. We'll put Ramon Arias over at second, and we'll put Holiday at shortstop. Maybe they think that's their best defensive alignment if Mateo isn't ready to go.
Maybe.
Or
he's the odd man out.
Mateo's here, and they think that the defense is best with Arias at second base when Gunner's out and moving Holiday over to shortstop. I have no idea. I keep hearing them talk about how all these scouts were saying how he has great hands, and they were talking about on the broadcast the other day, he has great hands, that the arm is the shakiest part of his defense, but the glove is great. I don't know. I wasn't impressed with what I saw from him playing shortstop the other day, but that's not my call. We'll see what their ultimate plan here is. I didn't expect Matt Bowman to be making the squad over Brian Baker, but who the hell knows? What I did
that's
hear.
The thing.
What I did hear from the broadcast the other day, Drew French referred to CNL Perez as a strike throwing monster, and to me that was. To me, that was something that I love to hear because the biggest issue with CNL Perez when he's not going right is not being able to locate.
Right.
So if he's been throwing a ton of strikes, it gives me that much more confidence because I'm a big CNL Perez fan. I saw him be dominant all of 2022, and then you saw really from when he came back off the IL in June until they just wore him down in September. He was phenomenal in 2023. And then he was really good in the middle of the season last year. And then they had all those injuries. They were using him and Cano and Soto and Dominguez. They were using them. They used them each 4 days in a row. Would give them each a day off and then use them 4 days in a row again after that.
Well, you had to because he was either that or Birch Smith.
Right.
Or some other guy that we didn't know.
Exactly.
I mean, I
So,
like Perez. What scared me about Perez, and it still kind of does, is like towards like that middle part of September last year, he had missed a couple days, and they asked him why, and he said, "I'm having some elbow soreness," and I was like, "Here we go," and then we haven't heard anything about it. Now I'm kind of waiting to that like mid-April update when it's like, "Oh, Perez has elbow soreness again." I'm like,
that's the thing about this team, and I guess you could say it about any team, Zach. But man, they are like not prepared if they get one more injury to the bullpen or one more. I mean, I guess that they thought that Kyle Gibson would have them prepared for another injury in the rotation, but like it just does not seem to me that like they're walking on a bridge of toothpicks right now. And if one toothpick gives, the entire bridge is going to collapse. I don't know what their plan is for the bullpen if they have one more injury, and
there's nobody out there. It's not like other years.
Yeah, I mean,
we had decent guys sitting around.
Is Lance Lynn still out there? Is David Robertson still out there?
Yeah, but I mean, they're not going to be out there too much longer.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it makes me think. I don't know how Kyle Gibson was the signing unless you plan on him being in your rotation. But now we're beating a dead horse at this point. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with Gravis Vasquez, Brenda Fries, Mike Pereira, and much more, you can find them all now in the Glenn Clark Radio Week in Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. or at every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on Facebook and YouTube. All right. So we talked about Tyler Wells being transferred to the 60-day IL. Matt Bowman had his contract selected. Did you see anything from Matt Bowman this spring? They were speaking very highly of him. Do you think that he earned this, or was just something like he pitched well enough here last year? He pitched better than Baker did. We're going to put him on the squad.
I think that definitely had something to do with it. Last year, Matt was decent. We had no real issues with him, so to say. He had a couple bad outings, but he had a couple good outings too. He had a 5.19 this year in spring. So I mean, gave up 12 hits and eight and 2/3 and 5 earned, 1 home run. So I mean, it's not like he lit it up and earned it. I mean, guys were hitting almost 350 against him this year. I just think long term, I think they know Matt Baumann in a regular season game, late game, they probably trust him over Baker.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he pitched well enough for the Orioles last year. I didn't see him pitch at all this spring. Again, because there weren't too many televised games. They've had to sync up perfect to see him pitch. But I was very surprised.
What to not televise these games, and it's not just the Orioles. Like the Red Sox weren't doing it. If you have a game with Roman Anthony, Marcel Mayer, and the other really good prospect in it, Christian Campbell, why is that not televised? Like, you should be promoting your players to your team. Same with the Orioles. When Bassiah was in the lineup with Beavers and, Cade Povich is pitching, like, why is that not on TV? Like I understand you pick schedules and whatnot, but find those games and find a way to get it on TV somehow for the fans. Promote the team, promote the young guys, give people a reason to tune in to a spring training game. Those are the reasons. Playing the Pirates 5 times on TV, like, after the second game, like, I'm bored. Like, give us, like, fans are ready for more baseball. Baseball's a long season, but they still want more of it. Find a way to get it done.
It's like constantly watching that Keegan Aiken 7-inning shutout start against the Braves in 2020 during a rain delay. Like, all right, I've seen this game 15 times this year. Can we please pick something different?
Right.
Yeah, and then like
something else to the server.
So somebody, the Orioles did not televise a game on a Friday night in the second or third week of March at 6:00 at night when and it's a home game and that they're going to have a representative lineup in that lineup, a primetime game on a Friday night at home on March. What was that? March 14th. Like, that lineup is going to be representative. When you're scheduling the game, schedule that as a game. That game makes sense to be televised. Then we have to watch a game this past Monday where it was nothing but minor league prospects that nobody had ever heard of playing for the Orioles, but it was televised on MASN because that was the day that they picked. You're televising a 1:05 game on a Monday afternoon over a 6:05 game on a Friday. It just doesn't make. And that was a road game. The 6:05 game was at home. the game they televised on Monday was a road game, and they're using the feed from a different team. Like how many of those televised games were the opposition's feed? The whole thing just absolutely blows my mind. And somebody said to me, if you really want to see them play that badly, either go to minor league games or you can just make the trip to Sarasota. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
No, it should be on TV.
It should be on TV. Like nobody's watching Masson. The World Series of Poker reruns on Masson during those games. Like just put those games on TV and you'll make all your money back from the cost.
Right. Like why is football why is it so big? The audience. Well, it's on and it's all you hear about for pretty much 12 months of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't just go and get people kind of excited here and there. And then, you go about a week or two and then you don't stream any games. Like they're going to forget until opening day.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball starts early February. And outside of guys like Rock and Molesky and stuff, that kind of give us our content and Jacob Calvin-Meyer, who else is going to do it? Who else is promoting the sport? Not just the Orioles, but the sport. Like baseball misses such a big opportunity getting these games on TV. Because, I mean, let's be real about it. The diehard fans are ready for baseball at this time of the year. Like I don't know, it's just a missed opportunity for me.
And the Orioles are one of 4 teams left in baseball that does not have a direct-to-consumer option, and they were talking about doing it before last year. They've been talking about. I think they hired a new president of Masson this past offseason. They were talking about doing it again this year, but they haven't done it yet. I'll tell you, man, the Masson app on my phone last year didn't work after May.
No,
it didn't work.
They don't care because you're still paying $19 a month for it.
Or
is it more than that?
No, you don't pay for the Masson app. It's free if you have a television, like a cable provider. Like if you have,
don't they offer it's like a $40 plan or something like that where you can watch games? I remember reading about that, but it was a couple of years ago. I don't know if they ever came out with it or not.
No, that's the direct-to-consumer option where you'd be paying monthly to stream the games without having to have a cable service. I mean, that's the only reason my wife and I still even pay for something like Fubo is so that we can watch the Orioles, because otherwise we have to depend on the app. And I'm telling you, the app only works on my television. It works half the time. On my phone, it has not worked since May of last year. Like it literally, and then when I got a new phone, it still didn't work. It would not play. I would just see a commercial over and over and over again, or a buffering. It just never played.
I'm not shocked.
Yeah, it drove me absolutely insane. So, look, people would pay for that. People would pay $20 a month to be able to watch. Like, are you telling me you think I wouldn't pay $20 a month to be able to watch the Orioles?
I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, for sure.
Heartbeat.
For sure. I mean, you're already charging us an extra $25 to $35 a month to add it to our cable plan.
Right.
You think I'm not going to give that money straight to Masson, straight to the Orioles to watch them every night instead of having to pay $200 a month for cable? Get the hell out of here. Like, let's just get this up and running. Get with the time. Stop living in an antiquated world and join the rest of the modern civilization. Get a direct-to-consumer option. One of 4 teams left. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing. And you have the 3rd richest owner in all of baseball.
Do you think they stick with Masson, or do you think they just dump it? Like it's just so far gone.
I mean, the Nationals are dumping it after this year.
I know.
They came
and then
to
it gets worse. They have no money at all.
Yeah.
They can't even get better to hire a developer to make a direct-to-consumer work correctly.
I mean,
in my opinion.
Maybe they're working with Major League Baseball to get something. I think that I thought about that when I saw the Nationals were done with it after this season. Masson may be going the way of the dodo for the Orioles after this year. That's
who's the big one that just went. Was it Bally?
Bally, yeah.
Didn't they have like 10 teams?
They had a ton of teams.
How does that go belly up?
I have no.
Or did the owner just say, "I'm just taking my money, getting the hell out of here"?
I think it just wasn't successful. And again, because I don't think they had a direct-to-consumer option. You have
makes sense.
All these regional sports networks, like the Dodgers have a regional sports network with a direct-to-consumer option. You have Bally's. It's an umbrella that covers a bunch of different teams, and like. How do you convince fans? Because chances are they're going to pay a premium, but then they're going to have access to all the other teams they don't give a crap about. So what are they going to be paying? $85 a month to be able to watch their team amongst 9 other teams. That's probably exactly what it was. They didn't have it was either you pay for all the teams, you get none of them, type of thing. And that would be the only way. I mean, how else do you satisfy all the teams that are under your umbrella? Right. They've all got to get paid.
And they all don't bring in the same amount of income either.
Exactly. So today's show brought to you by the latest edition of Press Box, which is available now. On the cover, Orioles owner David Rubenstein sits down with a Q&A with Stan the Fan Charles and Glenn Clark. Also inside, we meet new Oriole Tyler O'Neill, as well as college lacrosse players from around the state. You can find the new issue all throughout the region, including at 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Zach, did you see? Maybe didn't see it, but did you hear about this diving catch that O'Neill made the other day?
I did not.
The first thing I thought about, they're like, O'Neill had a couple of hits in the game today, and he made a great diving catch in right field. And the first thing that went through my mind was, holy crap, did he get hurt?
Did he get hurt?
Holy crap, did he get hurt? I don't want this guy. Like, when I heard about him making a diving catch, and I thought, oh, shit. Like that's the thought. The thought that went through my exactly. Like, did he hyperextend his shoulder? Did he bang his knee into the ground? What the hell happened? Because and now I'm just like, wrap the dude in bubble wrap and only unwrap him for his 4 bats every night. That was the thought. That's the thought that goes through my mind. Tyler O'Neill, he's having a great spring. Apparently, the home run that he hit was a freaking moonshot. I want to see what this guy can do over the course of a season. Look, he signed his contract. What is it? 3 years, $46.5 million over 3 years. Signed this contract to be able to with an opt-out, so that if he has a big year, he can opt out and either get a better deal from the Orioles or from somebody else out there. I think he's more motivated than ever to stay healthy so he can get a huge payday. Because look, the guy hits home runs at a Santander rate from 2024 when he's healthy. Your thoughts on Tyler O'Neill, your expectations from this year, and what do you think happens if he plays 145 games in 2025?
Look, he's got enough power to hit 35 home runs if he plays 140 plus games. He
hit 31 in 130 last year.
Right. I mean, he's got a good swing. Is it the prettiest against right-handed pitching? No. But the power's still there if he connects. He just abuses left-handed pitching, which is something that this lineup needed. He is a Gold Glove outfielder, and a lot of people are quick to overlook that with him.
Mm-hmm.
And many scouts have said it. If he had stayed healthy, he might already have 5 Gold Gloves. But it's like he gets to that point every year, and then he gets hurt, and then you kind of forget about him because it's been 20 or 30 games, or he doesn't finish the season kind of thing. You keep him healthy, and it could be a big increase to the outfield play from what we saw last year. I'm excited about him. I think he's still going to hit 240, 250, right? He's not a high average hitter. Most power hitters aren't. He's still probably going to strike out 150 plus times. But if he hits you 35 home runs and 90 plus RBIs and still plays solid defense and stays healthy, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, is that how you feel about Colton Cowser too? Because Colton Cowser kind of profiles similarly. Look, nobody's built like Tyler O'Neill, right?
Yeah.
But Colton Cowser profiles about 250, 25, 30 homers, can probably drive it in close to 90, but he's going to play really good defense. You feel the same way? You think it's okay to have 2 outfielders on your team to do that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you look around baseball, that's what most guys are doing. I mean, here and there you have an outlier who's hitting, 280 plus, 30 plus home runs, but I mean, what most people want nowadays is the home runs and the RBIs. They really don't care about average too much. And baseball is a team game. You'll give yourself up to move a guy over from second to third, right? You get the out, your average goes down, but the team benefits from it. Now, I'm not saying the Orioles did that much last year, but if they get back to that this year, I mean, that's why average doesn't really matter to so many people. It's more about on base. I think Cowser needs to kind of increase the walks just a little bit more this year.
He did a lot in the minors. He walked a ton in the minors.
Right. He's got a great eye. And it's just, sometimes you just get beat by pitch. And he faced a lot of really good relievers last year. The AL East is no slouch. The AL itself is no slouch, right? There's a lot of good arms. Sometimes he just got beat. And sometimes he got made look silly because he's a rookie and that happens. But I expect, like you said, probably close to a 20-point jump. I just think he's going to be a better overall player. I think the defense gets even better. If that's even possible to hear. I think the arm finally kind of starts to tame itself a little bit, and we're not going to see those errant throws kind of going all over the field anymore. I think now it'll be a little bit more directly to 95 right to the cutoff man this year. He'll let one or two of them go when he needs to, but I think you'd just see a more polished player overall.
Yeah, isn't his arm in like the 95th percentile, something like that?
Yeah,
It's
it's electric.
his arm strength is crazy. It's just that he wasn't very accurate when he would really unleash it last year. He just wasn't very accurate. If he can take a little bit of velocity off the throw and get a little bit more accuracy, I think he's going to be deadly. As an outfielder, I'm excited to see what the Orioles outfield can do, and that's going to lead us into our Orioles preview for the 2025 season. We've gone over the rotation at length. I think that right now we know that you're looking at Zach Eflin as your opening day starter. We talked about in the show last week, Charlie Morton is number 2, and that's kind of what we expected as a veteran.
Yeah.
Number 3 is going to be Kramer or Sagano, and then we know that the number 4 is the other one. And then number 5 is going to end up being Kate Povich. Who do you think gets that number 3 slot? Have they announced that today?
I think it's probably Sagano.
Yeah,
you got
veteran presence.
Got right.
Yeah, and honestly, you
didn't pay him $13 million. Is it 10 or 13?
I think it's 13.5.
Yeah, you're not paying a guy $13 million to be your number 4.
Yeah,
he's going to pitch in the upper end of the rotation.
Yeah, I mean, and when you put it that way, Charlie Morton, $15 million, he's your number 2, and he deserves to be the number 2. But Grayson, what's going on with Grayson? All I've seen is he was throwing from 60 feet, he's throwing from 75 feet, but then they signed Kyle Gibson. Are you expecting anything from Grayson Rodriguez at this juncture, this season? Because signing Kyle Gibson makes me think that maybe they're not letting on about something.
That's what scares me too, and they haven't been the most honest organization lately.
True.
Even dating back to last year. So I don't know what to expect from Grayson.
I thought you were just saying, I don't know, and just leaving it at that.
No, I mean, look, if he doesn't have any structural issues and he's still playing catch and everything is going fine, he'll miss 3 or 4 starts, which I'm fine with. Signing Gibson because he is more hurt than you had told us previously, that's a different story. We're not going to find out about that for a little while. And that's the part where I start to not know, because I feel like as an overall fan base right now, our trust in what we hear is kind of out the window.
Yeah.
And it's hard to bring that back. So like maybe if they do tell the complete truth, I don't think anybody's going to look at anybody right now and immediately believe them. So until he literally steps on a field for a rehab assignment, I just don't know. Like Daniel says, I think we all suspect he's heading to TJ, but this is where our trust in Elias is kind of gone, because he keeps saying there is no structural issues. So I just need to see him on the field.
Yeah, I exactly. I need to see him get on the mound. I need to hear that he's throwing bullpens, that his arm is looking better. That
I want to know what he's hear. I need to see a video.
Yeah, for sure. We can't even trust what we hear these days. I know for a fact, beyond a shadow of a doubt, they did not sign Kyle Gibson for $5.25 million for him to not be part of their plans.
Yeah,
they're not giving that dude over $5 million to be in AAA.
Didn't they give him 10 the first time?
Yeah, they gave him 10 the first time.
So at least it's only 5 this time. I guess that's a little bit better.
And like, look, they didn't sign him they're not giving him $5 million to be in the minors. He even said that when Rock was interviewing him, it was in the article that he said he received a lot of minor league offers, and he turned them down because he wants to pitch in the big leagues. So the Orioles signed him to be part of the big league staff, whether it's rotation or in the bullpen. Kyle Gibson, when he's ready to go, he's going to be here. And the other thing is, we heard 2 weeks ago that Gibson had been throwing all spring, was throwing simulated games, was up to 60 pitches. Yeah. So maybe it's a 3-week ramp up, but it's not going to be like Alex Cobb. You know what I mean? Where like he got signed so late and then he ramped up too quickly and then got lit up and then had to go on the IL. It's not going to be like that because he's already been throwing simulated games. He's going to be part of this team. I was getting a lot of crap like, oh, he's not going to be in this rotation. They're not going to put him in over Povich. Sure about that?
I think Povich gets 3 starts to prove it.
Yeah.
He earned the spot, and now he's got to earn to keep it.
Yep. It's
his. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if he comes out and Povich, has 3 decent outings, we'll say we'll go with the average here, right? He goes 15 innings across 3 starts, gives up 5 runs.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's good enough to keep him in the rotation over Gibson?
A 3 ERA, absolutely.
Okay, good. Me too.
A 3 ERA over his first 3 starts is absolutely good enough. How many people is he walking?
That's the question.
How many people is he walking? I don't care if he strikes out 11 per 9 or if he strikes out 6 per 9. I care if he's walking 5 per 9 as opposed to 1 or 2 per 9.
Yeah.
That's what I'm concerned about. Same thing we were talking about with CNL Perez. If the guy's throwing strikes, he's absolutely deadly. So and that's what he did all spring. All spring, Kate Povich threw strikes, and he was deadly this spring. So I don't know, man. The rotation as it stands right now looks like it's Eflin, Morton, Sagano, Kramer, and Povich. What it's going to be when Kyle Gibson's ready, when Grayson Rodriguez is ready, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, we still have 4 days. There could be a trade in the works. We have no clue what's about to happen with this team. We just know that 4 days from now they're going to be in Toronto, taking the field against Hidley Santander and the Toronto Blue Jays. That's all we know at this point. But we're going to try and act like we know some stuff. How about the starting lineup? Gunnar's obviously on the IL at least the first 7 games. I think he misses half, if not most, of the first month. With the fact that he hasn't played in any games yet, to me it says that if he was hitting on the field and they were hopefully he could play this past Thursday and he hasn't, that there was a setback. That's what it says to me, that there was a setback or he just wasn't comfortable enough yet. Either way, he's starting on the IL. The Orioles leadoff hitter for 85% of their games last year, not here to start the season. I think it's going to be Kalzer leading off for the Orioles. Rutschman batting second. Tyler O'Neill, I think, is going to hit third for this team. Mountcastle fourth, and I think you're going to have Westberg hitting fifth. Is it going to be Ryan O'Hearn or Heston Kjerstad DHing for this team? Whoever it is, they're going to be hitting sixth for the ball club. If you have Ramon Arias playing second base and Jackson Holliday playing shortstop, it's probably Arias 7, Mullins 8, Holliday 9. I think that's your starting lineup. Your thoughts on what the Orioles lineup could be?
That would be that. I think they would mix maybe Urias and Mullins there because then you would have 3 lefties in a row when you got back to the top. Just to split it up a little bit. That way you only have 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to argue against that lineup. Obviously, it completely changes against lefties. But, I mean, you brought up a good thing, like who DHs? I think, at $8 million, Ryan O'Hearn is going to DH a lot.
Yeah.
I think majority of the people in this fan base want to see what Heston Kjerstad can do with consistent at-bats.
Yeah.
But again, you're not putting $8 million on the bench. So they put themselves in another tough pickle, and I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
I personally, look, if Adley's catching, I'm going to have Tyler O'Neill DHing because it gives me options, one, and then I can move. You got to see what Heston can do in right field. He has struggled and looked a little lost sometimes, and I get it because you need reps. It's different playing reps in minor league stadiums than it is in big league stadiums. You can do all the batting practice you want. It's not the same, especially at night. Everything's different. So he needs reps to see if he's an outfielder, because if he's not, well, you better get Dylan Beavers ready. And then you can't have 2 DHs. So who's moving? They got to find out quick. So I would have Heston in right. I would have Kalzer in left, Mullins in center, and only when Adley's catching, and then Tyler O'Neill DHing. Now, obviously, with a lefty, I'm going to go with O'Neill in left, and then I'm going to put Kalzer in right, and I'm going to put Mullins in center, and then I'll have Mountcastle still at first with Gary Sanchez DHing. Only just to kind of keep Tyler kind of in it a little bit and get another bat and right-handed bat in the lineup. So O'Hearn and Heston and stuff aren't really taking bad at bats. But that also gives you flexibility because later on, if a righty comes in, Heston can DH or O'Hearn can DH, Mullins comes out, Kalzer goes to center field. Like, they have a lot of options what they can do, which I like. I would think that probably Urias would still play second with Holliday at shortstop, even against a lefty, because he smokes lefties. But maybe not, because that's the only guy that Mateo can even hit. So, God, how the hell can you sit here and project this?
Against lefties, against lefties, I think you're going to see Westbrook at third base, Mateo at shortstop, and Jackson at second base. I think you're going to see Ryan Mountcastle playing first base.
Yeah.
Here's what I think they're going to do. I think it's going to be Calzer in center. I think it's going to be Kjerstad in right against lefties, and I think it's going to be O'Neill in left field. I think that they're going to get because
Kjerstad. You know what we thought about? We've completely forgot about Laureano, who smashes left-handed pitching.
Yeah, I mean maybe he plays center field then.
I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah. No matter what happens, you're going to have 4 or 5 lefties in your lineup against left-handed pitching, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because Calzer's an everyday player. Holiday's an everyday player. Mullins bats left-handed. Kjerstad bats left-handed. O'Hearn bats left-handed. No matter what, you're going to have 4 lefties on any given night against a left-handed pitcher. And I think that if they're looking at it, they're saying Mullins is probably the least of those guys when it comes to hitting lefties. Yeah. So it's to me, Mullins is the one that slides right out. I don't know how much playing time he gets to start the year against left-handed pitching at all. And maybe that's how you get Kjerstad in line. But I mean, Kjerstad apparently matched lefties in college, So I think that looking at that, Mullins strictly plays against right-handed pitching, and you either see Laureano or Calzer in center field against left-handed pitching.
So I'm looking up, and I want to pull up dating even back to the last year. So 2023, all of 2023 into 2024. Heston is a career. Now it's only 17 at bats. Career 355 hitter against lefties. Calzer 220, Mullins 215 through 220 at bats for Mullins.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Mullins. I think Mullins' playing time gets cut fairly large this year, a lot more than people expect. I've seen some people saying that he could be like the team captain or whatnot. I don't think Mullins is even here past the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think he's either getting traded at the All-Star break or he becomes more of a fourth outfitter, especially if Laureano starts hitting. Yeah. If Laureano starts the year and he's hitting, he could be replacing Mullins in center field at some point this year. We talked about this a few weeks ago on this show.
Laureano's a 285 hitter in the last 2 years against lefties.
Yeah, against lefties, Mullins ain't playing.
Right.
He's not playing. And somebody said in the comments here, Daniel Pitts, Mullins just doesn't seem to have a place on this team anymore. And that sucks, right? Because I remember when he was supposed to be the heir apparent to Adam Jones and Adam like ushering him out onto the field back in 2018 when he debuted and him getting 3 hits like immediately and like showing speed and looking electric. And then he gives up switch hitting and he goes 30-30, and then he's on the World Baseball Classic. But he's being pushed out of Baltimore. Like he's being pushed out of Baltimore. And as much as we love him, as much as, he has been a huge piece for this team through the rebuild into like now the winning stage of this whole thing. It's the same thing with Austin Hayes. There's just not a spot for him.
Yep.
There's not a spot
100% for him. Agree.
It sucks. And so like now you look at the bench. I mean, look, the Orioles are deep, right? Their bench is going to be on any given night. You could have Laureano, O'Hearn, or Kjerstad, Mateo, or Rios on your bench when Gunnar gets healthy. And that's before you even talk about, Gary Sanchez. And Gary Sanchez, a better defensive backup catcher than James McCann was last year, who, by the way, just signed a 1-year minor league deal with the Braves. I don't know, man. This team is really deep. I know that Mateo is going to be on the bench. I know Arias is going to be on the bench when Gunner's healthy. Sanchez is going to be there, and it's either going to be O'Hearn or Kjerstad on the bench. And do you have 5 bench players? I mean, you have 5. Is that what I'm looking at?
Are you allowed 13 or 14? I think it's only 13 pitchers, right?
13 pitchers, right?
Yeah. So then,
13.
No, it would be 13 bench players.
You could do 12 pitchers and 14 bench players, or you could do 13 pitchers and 13 bench players.
Or 12 and 14, right? Or no?
You can't do 14 pitchers and 12 bench and 12 position players. So I mean, you figure that you have your DH and your 8 positions on the field.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have, I mean, are they really even going to bring up a guy like a Levon Soto? If Mateo's ready, does Soto make this team?
No, because who replaced him with 40 man? Matt Baumann just take your last spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Who you cutting?
Yeah, I just that's the thing that you have.
Same with Manchin.
Yeah, and
you got to cut somebody.
That's probably why they're trying
now, if
make
you
it.
cut Brian Baker, then you got a spot. But
Yeah, I'm ready for the Baker era to be over. Brian Baker, the outmaker. Every time I see that, I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we
yeah,
doing?
yeah. I mean, look, there's some guys that you could probably let go. Like, look, if Ruanzi Contreras, doesn't make the team, maybe you cut him. I don't know.
He's not making the team.
Right. I mean, there's not too many other people you can let go. Let me look at position players.
Yes, you can do 14 position players and 12 pitchers. You can't do it the other way around, though. So it's either 13 and 13 or 14 position players and 12 pitchers.
Your only option is either cut a pitcher off the 40-man for Manchin or Soto, or cut Dylan Carlson, which they are not going to do.
Yeah. Well, Dylan Carlson is going to start the year in the minors.
Right.
He's going to start the year in the minors. Then, man, it's like it's twisting my brain into a pretzel.
Yeah.
Because you're still looking at. I mean, Arias is going to be playing every day, basically, while Gunnar's out. You're going to see Mateo playing shortstop. Here's the other thing. It happens every year. Jorge Mateo is going to be your everyday shortstop at some point until Gunnar comes back.
I hope not.
It's going to happen, man.
I hope not.
The
defense has fallen off.
My question is, why has this dude never learned to bunt? Why has Jorge Mateo never learned to become an elite bunter?
Down.
That should be the number one skill set offensively that he has, is putting a bunt down anywhere on the field. That should be his number one skill set.
I like Mateo as a person. As a player, I feel like he is way overvalued here. He has speed. Cool. We don't use it properly. Hopefully we do this year. But going into this year, we don't use speed properly. Hitting, we get excited that he hits 240s against lefties. So, Cowser hits 220, and he's younger, better, and hasn't been in the league for 10 years.
Right.
The defense at one point, I think it was maybe 2022, was electric. It has fallen off significantly since then. The arm has fallen off. He's overvalued to me, but he's a good dude. He's a hype guy. He does make things happen. He plays outfield in a pinch. I get it all, but it's like, if I have to make a roster move, there's a reason why 3 other teams quit on this guy too. We don't need to keep him around just because we think we developed him into a 220 or 230 hitter. The speed's not that good,
I love this. The problem in baseball nowadays, 240 is the new 270. It absolutely is.
To an extent. So back in the day, 270 wasn't hitting 30 home runs, and they weren't driving in 100, where now 240 and 30 and 100, it's a big deal. I mean, nobody cares about a guy that gets on base if he's not either 1, scoring, or 2, driving in runs while he's doing it. So if Bradfield comes up and hits 240, but he swipes 40 bags, a little different story, right? If Cowser comes up and hits 240, it has 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, different story. If Bradfield came up and hit 300, but only scored 80 runs because he wasn't stealing, we know that's not going to be the case. But, wasn't manufacturing runs, what good is that? He's just getting left out on base all the time. So the average, it is different nowadays, but I mean, guys want runs, and you got to have guys on to score runs. I get that, but you also have to manufacture them once you get on. So it's a give or take thing between the old days and the new days when averages come into play.
Well, and it's like when the Orioles had Hanser Alberto. Remember when he 2019 he hit 305, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah, 2019.
How many runs did he actually score though?
62. He scored 62 runs in 139 games. He hit 305.
So that's not doing much for the team
on base percentage. And that was when the ball was like the
juice,
the juice baseball. Exactly.
Yeah. They so 62 runs in 162 games. I'm not very good at math, but you're not manufacturing any runs there. You did the team no good hitting 305.
Right. And so when
you gave him an opportunity, but cool.
And then in 2020, he hit 283 with a 306 on base percentage. So when you're in the offseason headed into 2021, I told people, anybody willing to listen, Hanser Alberto's getting cut.
Yeah.
He and Renato Nunez are getting cut. They're not going to be here because they're one-trick ponies. Alberto can hit you a bunch of singles. Renato Nunez can run into a home run for 2 weeks, and then he won't hit for 2 months, and then he'll run into a couple of home runs for 2 weeks, and then he won't hit for the rest of the season. And that's how he's going to hit 25 to 30 home runs. And that's why they're going to be cut going into 2021. Sure enough, they got cut.
Well, look at Luis Arraez. Like, cool, he does a lot of really cool things. He wins batting titles, but like no team wants to keep him. No. Like San Diego is kind of stuck with him. They tried so hard to trade him this year, they couldn't.
Right.
Because he doesn't provide a whole lot of value to their team. He can't steal bases, so he gets on first, but like if Machado rolls over a ball afterwards, that's 2 outs. Right. He has no chance to swipe second. Now, a guy like Bradfield goes out and hits 300. He's probably going to steal 90 bases.
Oh
That's
my God.
Completely different for your offense.
If Enrique Bradfield hits 300, he'll steal 90, 100 bases. He'll score 130 runs.
Right.
Like,
and that helps your offense.
I mean, look at Luis Arraez, though. 203 hits in 2023, 200 hits to lead the majors in 2024. Or, I'm sorry, to lead the National League in 2024. 200 hits last year. He didn't even have 40 extra base hits.
Right.
He had 100.
How many runs scored did he have? And they put up a lot of runs.
83 runs.
Right.
Last year. 80. Now he's 61 runs in 117 games with the Padres. 83 runs total. 71 runs the year before. The year before that, he won 3 straight batting titles, and he has scored 88 runs or less in all 3 of those seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And none of his base hits are for extra bases. I mean, you have 200 hits,
and you can't run,
and 161 of them are singles. And yeah, he doesn't steal bases. He stole 9 last year, and it was a career high. And and those 9 came after he joined the Padres. That was a career high. He has 20 stolen bases in a 6-year career. That's just you're hitting. You get 200 hits, and 160 of them are singles. I mean, what are you doing for your team?
Exactly. So it's a different ball game than it was back in the day.
It also
they just look at analytics different now, I should say.
I think if you hit 354, he doesn't walk either. The on base percentage looks great because he hits for such a high average. But I mean, he had 24 walks last year, 35 and 23, 50 in 2022. He's not walking. Not once does he have an on base percentage above 393, and that year he hit 354.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to hit 380 to have an on base percentage above 400, which is absurd to me. You hit 350, your on base percentage should be 450.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
It's confounding to me, but like I get it. It's the same reason nobody wanted John Jay at the end of his career. All he did was hit singles.
Right.
So, yeah, I have no idea what this Orioles bench is going to look like. We know, but like between their lineup and their bench, who's going to play, who's going to be here, who's getting traded. I mean, to me, the writing's almost on the wall that Heston Kjerstad's getting traded.
Yeah, maybe
because if they're going to make a trade, it's going to be Kjerstad, because otherwise, and then this is before you even realize we got to make room for Kobe Mayo at some point. If he goes down there and hits 300 with 25 home runs in the first 4 months of the season, you've got to make room for Kobe Mayo.
Yeah,
on this team. So
Birdland brings up a good thing about Tony Gwynn. Shockingly, he only scored more than 85 runs 4 times. So he hit, 370, 329, 372, 317, 351, 336, 368, 394 at one time. So he hit over 300 pretty much every season of his career, but scored less than 85 runs in 75% of them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, honestly.
It's just a different ball game nowadays.
It is. It's a completely different game. Yeah. Guys like Luis Arraez would be on a Hall of Fame trajectory any other time. And he if a guy like Luis Arraez has 3,000 hits at the end of his career, if he's got 3,000 hits, but 2,400 of them are singles,
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
you're not getting in the Hall of Fame. You'll be the first 3K hitter and not get there.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts that guy. All he does is hit singles, and nobody wants to keep him because that's all he does now. He doesn't hit the ball at the ballpark, doesn't get extra base hits, doesn't steal bags. Absolutely crazy. So then, Orioles bullpen. We know that the bullpen is going to be, to start the year, it's going to be Suarez. It's going to be Bautista, Perez, Cano, Keegan Aiken. And I know that my brain is just not working right now. There's going to be, 3 more? 2 more.
Matt Bauman.
Yeah,
Did you say Soto?
Soto. So I think that's your 7, and then you've got 5 in rotations. You get 1 more. Who's the other one?
Hmm.
Who am I forgetting?
Say them all again.
So you've got Perez, Bautista, Cano, Soto, Dominguez. Dominguez.
Yeah.
Dominguez. I think I just want to forget that he exists. Like I don't know, man. How do you feel about this bullpen? I'm not very excited about it.
Me either.
Yeah.
I've said it plenty of times. They didn't do enough to address the situation. I felt like you didn't have to pick up the option on Dominguez. That would have gave you $8 million to sign somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like Soto. Soto's okay. I feel like Keegan Aiken is an upgradable piece. These guys on the roster, obviously, we're going to cheer for them. And they're good enough to get the job done. But we're kind of past that point of just being good enough. I feel like this team needs to get out of that mindset and start attacking, especially with the bullpen. I mean, that's the easiest place to upgrade. We know the lineup's already pretty decent. You know, the starting staff, I feel like, is good enough. You could have loaded up this bullpen with several players that are upgradable, and they just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm pretty concerned. I mean, we're on the same page about it, and it's like I don't know. Dave Robertson is still there, and I feel like he's better than Matt Bauman. Like, he could have took that 40-man spot. Like,
yeah,
that's what I don't get. That's what I
doesn't
really don't get. He's either asking for the moon, or I don't know. I really don't know.
And maybe he's like, look, I don't have to pitch, so I'm not gonna pitch unless I get the perfect situation. The perfect situation might
38 years old.
I think he's 41.
Robinson, either or. He doesn't have to. He's still good enough to, but he's made enough money in his career.
He's probably saying, look, I'm not pitching unless I get a 1 year, $12 million contract from a contender.
Give it to him.
I would, but it ain't my money. You know, I don't know.
That's where the $8 million to Dominguez was a problem, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They put a lot of stock into Dominguez. And look, I hope he turns it around, and I hope it was just him working on something. And I know spring training, sometimes you just suck, and then you come out in the regular season, you're fine. We hope again that is the situation. It just doesn't look like it right now. You have no confidence going into, if he was to get the ball on Thursday or Friday in the 6th or 7th or 8th inning, I'm going to be sitting on the edge of my seat just waiting for it to implode. That was your $8 million you could have spent on David Robertson or, some of the other guys. Tanner Scott, right? What did he get, 19 or something? He could have just floated him a little bit more money.
Yeah, I think he got $20 million. I think he got $20 million a year.
So, I think
it was 4 years, $80 million.
Could have been your guy. I don't know. There was plenty of arms out there to do it with. Plenty of good ones. Kendall Graveman, but they chose Dominguez. So let's pray to God it works out.
Yeah. Daniel makes a good point. We are going to have to free a 40-man spot if we move Kittredge to the 60-day DL, correct?
They did not say that he's officially going to be out that long. They said that when their surgery went a lot better than expected, and he does not have as much swelling, so he was able to rehab faster. So he may not be out 60 days.
Okay. If he's not, if he's back at some point in May, I think that's a big win.
What is 60 days? Is it May?
60 days from the start of the season would be September, April. So it would be
April, May, right? The end of May. So
yeah, end of May.
Start of June.
Yeah, if he's not going to be back to the start of June, then put
When's
on
the All-Star break? Is it
middle of July? Second week of July.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, if somehow he's back beginning middle of May, okay. But if you are looking at it as like, look, he still has to get back, restart spring training, pitch, then he has to go on a rehab assignment. I mean, look, if he's not doing that by the end of April, then what are we doing?
Right. And then if you put somebody on 60-day, can you backtrack it that far?
I don't know when you can backtrack it. I mean,
baseball's rules are weird.
Yeah, I have no idea. But speaking of injuries, this must have happened during the show. And as expected, the most injured team in MLB is at again with the O's yesterday. I didn't see it.
So this is the second year in a row that he has started the season with elbow discomfort.
Well, he had a hairline fracture last year.
Right.
in the elbow. And now this year he has elbow soreness and won't be catching for a while. Um, let's see
What are
here.
they doing to these guys?
I don't know. Here's the thing, and this is going to sound messed up. I'm not too concerned about it.
I'm not either, but
because he's not in your big league plans right now.
right.
Right. I want him to play. I want him to be part of your big league plans. But one, I think Adley's going to have a big year. Two, you already have a logjam at first base before even trying to figure out what you're going to do with Kobe Mayo.
Right.
There's not a spot for Basayo right now.
I agree.
Could there be at some point this year? I mean, somebody would have to get hurt or really underperform for there to be a spot. So you're really talking about Basayo maybe getting a cup of coffee in September, but really not having an impact on your big league roster. Again, unless a serious injury or serious underperformance until 2026.
Yeah.
If it's something where he has to have Tommy John surgery, again, position players come back from Tommy John surgery a lot more quickly than pitchers do, because pitchers are throwing, the catcher has to throw it back to the pitcher on every pitch, but it's not like he's throwing full speed.
Yeah, and he's not flipping in a slider or a curveball or anything like that. I mean, he occasionally might throw a two-seam down a second base, like, sorry,
Yeah.
But for the most part, he's just throwing, he's throwing a fastball down there. And yeah, you can make it back 9 months as a catcher.
Yeah, absolutely, which means that he will be back for the start of next season if he were to need that. But let's not jump the gun here. Elbow inflammation doesn't always mean Tommy John surgery. I mean, my elbows are inflamed from moving 100 boxes yesterday.
I don't think the Orioles are not concerned about anything when it comes to April, minor league or major league. Like if Gunnar misses an entire month of April, I really don't think they care. The games matter. I 100% agree with that. But to them, a healthy Gunnar Henderson for the entire season is much more important than getting him back 8 and 10 games in and then kind of letting it linger till, May, beginning of June. Because we seen him last year when something wasn't particularly 100% right. The defense was off. It wasn't hitting home runs. So give me a healthy Gunnar Henderson. Don't care how long it takes. It's April.
If Gunnar Henderson comes back on April 25th and he hits 290 with 38 home runs the rest of the year, I don't give two craps about what he did, about him missing the first 3 weeks of the season. The games matter. Losing a game in April matters as much as it does in September. But if you can tread water, if you can play some 500 ball, maybe a little bit better than 500 until Gunnar gets back, and then he can help lead you on a serious charge.
Right.
I mean, those Orioles teams in the 70s and 80s that were really freaking good, they would hover right around 500 the first 3 months of the year, and then they would turn it on when it got hotter out. If this team can hover or be within reach of the top of the division, Gunnar gets back, and then they can get hot. I'm good with it. And as far as their rotation is concerned, name the ace from the 2014 Baltimore Orioles.
Chris Tillman? Maybe.
Chris Tillman.
Was he?
And he wasn't an ace.
Right.
But
that was a proxy ace.
They had 6 starters for that rotation. Ubaldo Jimenez was the only one that had an ERA above 4. Kevin Gausman in 20 starts was at like 3.6. Bud Norris won 16 games with like a 3.57. Wei and Chen had a 3.5 ERA. Tillman, Gonzalez, they all had 3.5 or better ERAs. That starting rotation pitched to a 3.61 ERA, and there was not a single ace. I don't like to say, like, it's just like when somebody says, who was the ace on the 2023 staff? They didn't have an ace then. Kyle Gibson, right? Until Kyle Brash was an ace the second half.
Yeah.
Grayson Rodriguez was an ace the second half. Those guys could be coming back in the second half to be your ace.
Yep.
This rotation, all they got to do is give you 6 innings of 3-run ball. Give you 6 innings of 3-run ball. And then, but again, that's what it's when you look at the bullpen. And that's why we're irritated that the bullpen wasn't built to be stronger. Unless Perez is his 2022 version.
Yeah.
If Perez
is then, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, they should have took what Cleveland did and did exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
Get your starters through, your starters. The Cleveland didn't have the best starters in the world. They were good, but they're no better than our team right now. They have Alex Cobb at one point. They only got 2 starts out of the one of their Cy Young guys. Like, I mean, they didn't have anybody jumping off the charts in the starting rotation. But when you got to the 6th inning and they had a lead, the game was over.
Yep.
because you weren't scoring on the bullpen. If you would have put this offense that the Orioles have, which averages almost 5 runs a game, with the back end of that Cleveland bullpen, you're looking at maybe possibly 110 wins probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like the offense is that good and their bullpen is that good. And the Orioles could have replicated that and decided not to.
Yeah, they needed, especially not bringing back Danny Coulomb. Okay, you don't bring back Jacob Webb. All right, I get that. Not bringing back Danny Coulomb, you needed to add two relievers to your bullpen. They added one, and he's hurt. Yep. So you have the exact same bullpen last year. You're replacing Craig Kimbrell with Felix Bautista. That's cool, but I just don't know that you can trust this bullpen fully. But again, if Perez looks really good, Gregory Soto looks like his all-star form from a few years back, then we're talking about something. But Felix Bautista, regardless of what Felix Bautista does, he's got to be able to post up for you. He's got to be able to post up for you. If he's pitching once every 3 days, that's not really helping your ball club unless he just isn't needed to pitch. But once every 3 days, So the bullpen, I just feel like the bullpen needs to be better, and hopefully they are. But I just don't feel like they did enough. Today's show brought to you by County Sports Zone. Find every score from every high school sporting event all year long at countysports.zone. Proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. All right, let's preview this. It's kind of some superlatives for the Orioles. What do you think their record's going to be this year?
I'll say they win 93 games.
That's where I was headed. Originally, a few weeks ago, I predicted 96. Taking a step back, and I'm going to say they win 93 games. Most valuable Oriole?
Jordan Westberg.
I'm going to go with... Honestly, I think I got to go Westberg. I got to go Westberg here. He's probably my favorite player on the team next to Gunnar, and I think the dude's going to have a big year.
Yep.
All-stars.
We're going to have a lot, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm going to go Mountcastle, Holiday.
Wow.
Yep. Mountcastle, Holiday, Gunnar, Westberg, the entire infield, Adley, and Cowser.
I can see that.
7.
I don't think Mountcastle's making the All-Star team. And
Probably
I don't
not,
think
but I think the numbers are going to be good enough to really get a serious run at it. Maybe we'll go 6.
I'm going to say Adley. I think Adley's the starting catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Holiday, Gunnar, Westberg.
Now, Westberg is going to struggle because of Jose Ramirez, and obviously he's more popular, but I think the numbers are going to be right there.
Yeah. I think he'll be a manager pick.
Yeah.
And then Felix Bautista. I'll take Felix Bautista. I don't know. I mean, Cowser's gotten a lot more popularity. He was on MLB Network during the winter meetings. He was second in Rookie of the Year voting. I think he's going to have to hit 280 with 20-plus home runs.
Yeah, you got to do better than Stephen Kwan. It's going to be hard.
Yeah. And Stephen Kwan, another singles hitter. Singles hitter, but he plays gold.
He's added a little bit of pop to him. He's got a little bit more home run to him.
Who is your unsung hero for this team?
Unsung hero, it would have to be Holiday, right? Because of what happened last year, and if he doesn't perform, obviously the offense just isn't as good. But if he does, the offense gets that much better.
Yeah, I get that. I think that the expectations for Holiday being a 1-1, making his big league debut at 20 years old, I think that if he does have a good year, it's expected. Like he's supposed to. Especially when you see so many guys who have really bad cups of coffee as a rookie, and then they come up. Like Mike Trout was terrible when he came up in 2011. In 2012, he finished second in MVP voting, won Rookie of the Year. So for me, it's going to be Tomoyuki Sagano. He's my unsung hero. If he posts up for 30 starts, I think he pitches to a 3-something ERA and wins you double-digit games. That's going to be my unsung hero.
Yeah, if he gets a 3.6, he might win Rookie of the Year with a 3.6.
Yeah. Team leader in home runs. Cowser? Yeah, I like how you whispered that.
I'm afraid to say it because, I mean, obviously everybody expects Tyler O'Neill to do it.
Or Gunnar.
But I got this weird feeling Cowser might hit 35.
Okay.
Just might.
I'm going to say and only because Gunner's going to miss about a month. Ryan Mountcastle.
I could see it too.
Ryan,
I've penciled in Ryan at that 30 plus pretty much the entire offseason.
Yeah, I mean, them moving that wall in, you saw what he did, especially towards the end of spring training, where he just started hitting home runs every game. Ryan Mountcastle, I think he's going to get back. I think he's going to hit a career high. I think you can pencil him in for 34, 35 home runs this year.
Oh, he gets to start in Toronto too, so he gets to start hot.
Yeah, exactly. And he was getting hot at the right time. He had an amazing spring. Ryan Mountcastle had a great spring. Team leader in wins.
Sagano.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 16.
Ooh.
You got to think a 3-6 and 16 wins. I mean, what was it? Grayson last year was in the top 15 in wins, and he missed the last 2 months.
He was 13-4.
Yeah.
13-4. And he only made 20 starts.
Right.
I'm going to go Charlie Morton.
I can see that too.
Charlie Morton, but I think he's going to lead the team, and it's going to be like 14 wins. I'm going to go Charlie Morton. And Kramer's going to give you 12, 13 wins.
Do you think there is a possibility that this team could have 3 15-game winners?
No.
Okay.
No. And the only reason is because I would think Grayson will win 18 if he was healthy and we weren't, you know what I mean? I think he was going to win 18 games this year if nothing went wrong with his arm. But I think 15-game winners. Sagano's never pitched at the big league level. Morton has got to turn back the clock. Eflin's got to stay healthy for a third consecutive season, which he's never done. And Dean Kramer has to avoid a 5 to 8 start stretch where he just gets lit up.
Which is usually every April.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, could they have 4 or even 5 guys win 10 games? They absolutely could.
Yeah.
3 guys winning 15 games. I'm not sure that I see it. I'm not sure.
That's fair.
I see it. And then Felix Bautista saves.
22.
Ooh.
Only because they don't want to use him back to back. I would say probably for the entire first half.
Yeah. I went high about a month ago and said 38. I'm taking a step back from that because I didn't realize he only had 33 saves in 2023. I'm going to say 29 saves. Nope. 31. 31 saves.
31's good.
I think he's going to have 31 saves. I did not write these down. That's the most valuable Oriole because I just didn't feel like it. So we're going to have to. We're going to have to remember what we said. You said 7 All-Stars though. I'll be able to remember. I'm going to. Mountcastle was the one that Mountcastle and Kalser. I think Kalser's a sneaky good pick though.
Yeah.
Because people know who he is. People know who he is now.
Right.
So, and then just to kind of wrap things up here, I don't know much about every other team. Usually I do a lot of research on this. I put the AL preview in there. Let's just talk about who we think are, and I couldn't tell you who the rookie of the year is going to be. I don't know who's a rookie on other teams. You probably know.
Yeah, I got to look into that more too.
But
because rosters aren't 100% set probably till tomorrow morning anyway.
Yeah. So why don't we save the rookie of the year and the manager of the year for another show? Maybe like mid-season we'll do our mid-season award show. We'll do something like that. Okay. So for right now, division winners.
I really want Brandon Hyde to win manager of the year again, just for shits and giggles.
Oh my God, man!
I really do.
I just feel like that was.
I just want to read Twitter the day that would be announced. Just for self-enjoyment.
Oh my God! How do you feel about Brandon Hyde? Are you a Brandon Hyde guy?
I'm a Brandon Hyde guy.
You're a Brandon Hyde guy.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what bothers me, it's the same thing that bothers me about Jordan Spieth. I hate Jordan Spieth. I cannot stand Jordan Spieth.
Spieth's got a punchable face though.
But my buddy ended up like golfing at the same at Jordan Spieth's country club last year or the year before, and said that he was just like the nicest guy in the world. So when somebody's like a super nice guy, it makes it hard. Like it makes me feel bad about not liking them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it doesn't change the fact that I don't like them usually, but it makes me feel bad about it. I heard that Brandon Hyde's just a super nice guy. You know what I mean? So it makes me feel bad. I don't like him, but I feel bad that I don't like him. Does that count for anything?
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't like people. I don't like John Harbaugh.
Yeah. I could take or leave John Harbaugh. If the Ravens are losing games they shouldn't be losing, I'm the first one to be like, get rid of the coach. but I want to like Brent Hyde. I want to like Brian Baker. I want to like Ryan McKenna.
Right.
They play and they coach my team. I want to like them. I just don't.
Sometimes you just can't.
Yeah. Division winner. We're just going to do the American League. Division
American
winners.
League. I'll do Rangers. Astros. No,
They're in the same
Rangers.
division.
Yeah. Rangers. I'm gonna go Orioles, and I'm gonna go Tigers. And then my wild cards, I'll throw in there the Royals, Red Sox, Astros. Do I get one more?
I think you only get 6.
6.
Yeah.
Is it 6?
Yeah, because you've got 2 buys. You've got, and then you've got the worst wild card plays the third best division winner.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna say Orioles win the East. I'm with you. The Royals are Bobby Witt or bust, really.
If Bobby Witt misses 10+ games, they might miss the playoffs.
Yeah. So for me, it's Orioles, Tigers. See, I can't take the Rangers because I think that their rotation's beat up, and I don't trust Jacob deGrom. But I like their offense. Their offense is really good.
Yeah.
But Orioles,
I think they're exceptionally aggressive at the deadline too.
Yeah. You know what though? I'm gonna go with Orioles, Tigers, Rangers because, and then my wild cards are Red Sox, Royals, Mariners. I think the Mariners pitching's too good, and I think they're going to trade for a bat. I really think they're
going to trade for a couple bats.
I think they're going to trade for a bat. I think their pitching's too good. I almost picked them to win the division, but it's the Mariners.
Yep.
It's the Mariners, and they blow it somehow every single year.
So just like Toronto.
My entire life, they blow it every single year.
Mm-hmm.
So, we both left the Yankees out.
I don't think the Yankees even make playoffs.
Yeah,
at all.
Right. We both left them out because look,
their lineup got worse, and now their top 4 starting pitchers are out.
I mean, you look at their starting pitchers. Their top 4 starting pitchers are out.
Yeah, Schmidt and was it Hamilton or somebody like that? I forget the other one's name, but they're starting on the IL.
So Max Fried, he's around.
Yeah,
right.
That's all they got. Max Fried and Stroman.
Garrett Cole's out. Heal's out. Apparently, Clark Smith's out. Carlos Rodon.
He's the other one. But he's poop.
Yeah, it's Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Marcus Stroman, and then who the hell knows? Giancarlo Stanton may never play again.
Yep.
They said that he needs ligament repair in both of his elbows. That dude may never play again, and even if he comes back, what's he going to give you with 2 busted
Did you see
elbows?
they're trying to blame the weight of the bat from last year?
Well,
did you see that article?
I didn't, but how much did
they
the bat
said somebody? I don't know. They said somebody told him to switch to a heavier bat. The dude absolutely annihilated pitching in the postseason, and then they said that guy got fired for projecting this to him, and now he's hurt. I'm sorry. That to me is not putting 2 and 2 together. Like
No.
it worked. He started hitting, and then you're going to blame that guy and fire him because he got hurt. He was doing something in the offseason. Let's be real.
Let me explain to you and to everybody else out there the number one culprit for when Aaron Judge gets hurt and when Giancarlo Stanton gets hurt. Their parents. It's their parents because I'm telling you, human beings are not meant to be 6'8", 275 pounds of solid muscle. We are not meant to be that big. You cannot play 162 Major League Baseball games every year over the course of 10 to 15 years and not get hurt. Yeah. It's impossible. Your body's not meant. Body is not meant to be that big and then withstand those kind of rigors. So you telling me that Stanton gets hurt and the Judge gets hurt, it's the least shocking thing of all time to me because you're not meant to be that big and play professional baseball. You're just not. They're both studs when right, but you're not meant to be that big. All right. What were the last 2 categories that we were looking at? I pull up. I got rid of my notes.
MVP and Cy Young.
MVP. Who's your MVP?
Judge. It's hard to pick against him.
It's hard to pick against him. Yeah, it's got to be Judge. It's going to be. Well, you know what? No, I'm going to say Bobby Witt. I'm going to say Bobby Witt's going to win.
Bobby has a down year this year. Not down like terribly, but I don't think he replicates what he did last year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was one of the best hitters in baseball last year. Cy Young.
I don't think you can go against Garrett Crochet right about now if he stays healthy. I don't know if he does, but Garrett Crochet looks freaking phenomenal.
The way they're talking about Skubal,
they both. It's just
I'm
gonna tell you right now, I'm a
Skubal.
left-handed hitter. I would never get in the box against either one of them.
And then comeback player of the year for me, I'm taking Mike Trout.
Ooh, that'd be a good one. I might go with Shane Bieber.
Ooh, that's a good one. He's gonna be the best starter in that Cleveland rotation.
Yeah,
Shane Bieber's a good one.
Shane's got a chance to win 15 plus, maybe 17.
Mm-hmm.
If he does that, that'd be really hard. If he stays like a sub 3.5 ERA, it'd be tough.
Is he back fully from Tommy John surgery yet?
Yeah, he made 2 starts last year at the end.
Okay.
Went 12 innings. Pitched really well. And he was a free agent. And I really wanted the O's to go after him. And he took such a small deal to go back to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. Didn't he I thought that he made those starts at the beginning of last year and then got hurt.
No, it was the very end.
At the very end?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Anything you want to promote before we get you out of here?
No, I mean, if you guys have never heard of me before, you can find me on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, Pigtown Sports. I just talk baseball randomly all day long.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever met somebody who loves baseball quite as much as you, and I know me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so Zach, always a pleasure, man. Thank you for hitting us with back-to-back weeks. It's a special show right before opening day. So glad you can make it work. Go enjoy dinner with the family, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right.
See you, man. That was Zack Moore, Pigtown Sports, joining us for his semi-weekly, his bi-weekly segment with us. He does every other show, but he was able to hop on for back-to-back shows this week because, again, opening day is coming on Thursday, so we wanted to have him on to do the opening day show. All right, let's get into some of these comments. I won't stay too long. Stephen Trust, I wonder if the Gibson signing is something more going on with Rodriguez or a lack of confidence in Seguro. I think you mean Sagano. I think it has more to do with Rodriguez than it does Sagano. I think that they have a lot of confidence in Sagano. I think that Grayson Rodriguez, if for nothing else, I mean, you've got a 41-year-old in your rotation. You've got a 35-year-old who's never pitched in the big leagues in your rotation. You've got a guy in Cade Povich who you don't really know what you're going to get out of him. So signing Kyle Gibson is a contingency plan, but I don't think that they give him over $5 million to not be part of their team. It's almost like they're expecting something bad to happen, and they know that they're going to need pitchers. They know that. So I don't think he throws a pitch that's not a ramp-up pitch in the minor league. So I don't know what the plan is. Maybe, like Zach said, maybe they move one of these guys to the bullpen. Who knows? Let's see. Birdland Sports Zone, what are we thinking about these lineup projections that are on several different sites that have Mullins hitting third? There's no chance that Cedric Mullins hits third for this team. He's not even going to be an everyday player. I mean, let me back that up. He'll play every day against righties. He will not start against lefties. There's no way that Mullins is going to hit third. I just think that a lot of these teams, a lot of these publications and websites that project these lineups, they don't know the team like we do. Right. So they just like, oh, Cedric Mullins, he went 30-30 one time. Let's bat him third. But Cedric Mullins will not hit third for the Orioles at any point this year unless it's as a pinch hitter. That's it. Or if he comes in as defensive replacement, if somebody gets hurt, that is the only time. He will not be penciled into a single starting lineup this year as a number 3 hitter. I can almost write that in stone. It's not going to happen. Randall says, I said weeks ago, if O's didn't sign Flaherty, we'd wind up with Gibson. They did, and I'm disgusted with them. Really, Gibson. I'm not disgusted. When I saw it, I wasn't pleased with it. I didn't like the move because I thought that it meant Povich was going back to the minors. Povich is in the rotation. He's got to keep that spot. It's up to him to keep it at this point. Gibson, look, he's a veteran presence. They love him in the clubhouse. That's why they brought him in, and they know that he can post up and that he can throw. If he can post up every 5th day and give them 6 innings. Even if he gives up 7 runs, he can pitch into the 6th or 7th for you. And they know that about him, and he's dependable. If Gibson's starting 30 games for you this year, it's either or 25 games for you this year. One of two things happen: the rotation imploded, or he just found the fountain of youth and is phenomenal. But I'm not disgusted with it. I just don't like it because I think that I know that for that amount of money, he's going to be part of your team, and he's just not better than you didn't bring in a starting pitcher that's better than anybody else that you already have, and that was what we've been looking for since last season ended. He's not better than anybody that you already have. David said trading for a number one pitcher is paramount. Meanwhile, the GM goes dumpster diving once again. Yeah, Lance Lynn's out there for your bullpen. David Roberts is out there for your bullpen. You bring in Kyle Gibson. He was probably the third person on one of those three. I get it. More than anything, I think it's because of the familiarity. I think that's why. Birdland Sports Zone, I'd be willing to bet you we don't see Gunnar Henderson at all in the month of April. I'd be shocked if we see him before the third week. If he didn't play in this, he hasn't played since February 27th. He was hitting on backfields and doing live BP and everything like that, and he still didn't play the last 4 games. I think that there's more going on with that injury. It's either there's a setback or it's still just uncomfortable for him. So we'll see, but I'd be shocked if we see him before the 3rd or 4th week of April at the earliest. Birdland Network, Holiday needs to play second, leave him alone and let him play second. I agree. Zach and I both agree with you on that one. He's going to be playing second base for you for the foreseeable future. Moving him to shortstop, especially with that arm, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Maybe because it's spring training, they're just trying to see what he has at shortstop. And because he's still getting the bulk of ground balls over at second base. I think they're just looking to see what they have in him over at short to see if he can be a legitimate replacement. Because if you're going to be without your superstar shortstop, it would be awesome to be able to replace him with a superstar shortstop. And then you have somebody who can play second base in Ramon Arias or Jordan Westberg and Jorge Mateo. That we didn't talk about it in that sense that you're replacing a superstar shortstop with a superstar shortstop. That could just be what it is. But I agree. I think he was going to have a solid defensive year at second base this year. I expect to see him playing the bulk of the games at second base for the Orioles in 2025. Rolling with Rock, Jackson added some muscle this offseason to help his arm strength in that range of shortstop at all. I can tell you that I added muscle this offseason, didn't help my arm strength. I had a baseball practice day and my arm felt like crap. So all jokes aside, he's 21. I'm 40. I get that. It was a joke, but maybe. But I don't know that muscle ever really helps. Like, obviously, you have to have muscle, but adding muscle, it's more about like your ligament strength, your shoulder strength, the torque that you can put on it. Maybe, but his arm hasn't looked better to me. It's not from shortstop anyway. When you watch Lamar Jackson throw a football, I always talked about this a couple of years ago when Tyler Huntley was a backup quarterback. You'd watch Lamar throw a ball, and it's on a line. It's a zip. Then you'd watch Huntley throw, and even his 10-yard passes had just a little bit of air under him, just a little bit of air. That's what I see from Gunnar to Jackson. Gunnar, it's on a line. That ball zips across the diamond. Holiday, you watch him throw, and it's got that little bit of air underneath of it. It's just the arm strength is not the same. And even with the 20 pounds of added muscle from eating nothing but ground beef for all offseason, even with that added muscle, I have not seen that arm strength tick up for Jackson Holiday. So maybe it helped a little bit. I haven't seen it. Rolling with Rock, fully agree. Let Jackson lead off. Look, you need a leadoff hitter. It's going to be Colton Cowser. I really, truly believe it's going to be Colton Cowser. But I'd say show Jackson Holiday you have that confidence and bat him lead off from jump because the bat looked different this spring. Last spring, he hit the ball. The bat looked different this spring. A lot of line drives to the opposite field, and it looked like he hit the ball harder, hitting the ball where they ain't. He looked like he had full control of the barrel of the bat this spring. Let that dude hit leadoff and steal 40 bags for you. Birdland, if Cedric Mullins hits third even once this year, I will scream. I don't understand these projected lineups that have him third. They don't know the team. That's it. That's really it. They think, okay, Gunner's going to hit leadoff. Cowser and Westbrook are probably going to hit fifth and sixth. Mountcastle probably in the middle of the lineup. Who's Cedric Mullins? He went 30-30 once. Let's put him there. That is it. They don't know the team. They don't know the team. It would be like me talking about who's going to hit third for the Oakland Athletics. I don't know. Let me just pick the guy that's been there and had success in the past. They don't know the team. Birdland Network, Gunnar out for a while. Anything more than 7 games is not good. Can't get off to a bad start. This division is strong. Division is strong. I don't think it's as strong as many people say. I don't think the Red Sox are as good. Look, they added Garrett Crochet, but then they have Lucas Giolito, Walker Buehler. Those guys aren't the same dudes that they used to be. They added Bregman, but now they've got turmoil within because Devers doesn't want to come off at third base. There's a lot going on with the Red Sox, right? The Yankees are old and beat up. The Blue Jays have a solid squad. I think that what's his name? Schneider, their manager, just like Gibbons before him. I think the management is what stops that team. And I don't think that they know how to play as a cohesive unit. You know, I think you're going to get big years out of Vladdy and Bichette in their walk years. Their rotation should be good enough to win them a ton of games. On paper, they have one of the best teams, and one of the best rosters in baseball. Can they put it all together? I don't know that they can. I think that the Orioles' offense is the best in the league. I mean, maybe not the best in the league, but definitely the best in the division. Can their rotation stand up? Can their bullpen? I think the rotation will be good. Can the bullpen back up a decent enough rotation? That remains to be seen. Rolling with Rock, we were talking about, are they showcasing Holiday? I'd trade Holiday for the right ace. I mean, it broke my heart to see DL Hall get traded. Now I get it. I mean, he's on the 60-day IL to start this year, and he hasn't panned out. Maybe Milwaukee made a mistake not having DL Hall be in their bullpen. But I look at Holiday, and if I was upset about DL Hall being traded, Jackson Holiday, I'd be inconsolable. I think this dude's going to be a dude for a long time, and to not see him become that dude for the Orioles, I mean, you're going to have to get me Paul Skeens or Tarek Skubal, or, you know, those are really the only 2 guys I would even be willing to accept at some point, Holiday being traded for them. Holiday, I think that I think he's special. Birdland Sports. Zach, I still love your idea last year, Holiday long-term in center field that you talked about last year. They have so many outfielders. Vance Honeycutt, Enrique Bradfield Jr., Judd Fabian, Colton Cowser. So they have so many outfielders in this organization. I think that they really – it blows my mind that they won't try Kobe Mayo in the corner outfield. If they won't do that, I don't see them ever moving Jackson Holiday to center field unless he just really can't field the baseball at second base. Birdland Network, I would never trade Holiday. I still don't understand why anyone undervalues him. He's played a total of 54 games. Ace better be Cy Young or Sandy Koufax or Skubal or who was the other, or Paul Skeens, right? Like that's what it is. That it would have to be one of those guys. Birdland Sports Zone, it's a duck to water. I said a duck on water. So we talk about I work for a mortgage company. So when they say whenever you get stressed, you got to be a duck on water. You guys know what that means. You're calm on the surface, but your legs are going 100 miles an hour underneath. And I couldn't think of the term duck to water. So I'm saying a pig to slop, but the same thing. Is Machine going to make the team? Adit? No, he's not going to make the team. Great spring, but they got to add him to the 40-man. And what you do in spring training, I mean, it would be like when they added Jake Fox. After he hit 10 home runs in spring training. Machine is not going to make the team. The Orioles may be able to work out a trade with somebody, but chances are he's going to be I don't even know if he has options. Does he have options? If he has options, he's going to the minors. Otherwise, no, I don't think he's going to make the team. Randall, this current rotation doesn't win more than 89 games and doesn't make the playoffs. Sad. I mean, you're saying that like it's a fact. It's March 23rd. The season doesn't even start for 4 days. I think the rotation's fine. I don't think they're great. I think they're fine. And maybe Kate Povich becomes Kyle Bradish. You know, we don't really know, but they don't win more than 89 games. 89 games might make the playoffs. I mean, it's a down year in the American League. Birdland, I think you could be trying to make Jackson happy, so more likely he signs a long-term extension. Maybe. He's talking about Jackson playing shortstop. I think ultimately what it comes down to is being able to replace your superstar shortstop with a superstar shortstop. Otherwise, you're looking at Jorge Mateo playing at shortstop a lot while Gunnar is out. Birdland Network, I think Mateo is totally overvalued. I don't get the appeal. He can't hit at all, and his defense is not good. It's good, not elite. The speed is elite, but you can't steal first. Yeah, man. The fact that he doesn't bunt well blows my mind. That should be the number one tool in his offensive bag is being able to bunt. He hits well against lefties. I'll give him that. The defense got worse at shortstop, but it's also because he started playing shortstop less. Once Gunnar got here, Mateo didn't play shortstop that often anymore. And when he did play shortstop, it was too much. I think it was rust. We saw when he was playing every day at second base, that defense became elite at second base. I think that if Mateo plays every day, he's an elite defender. But I think you have a serious problem beyond the defense if Mateo is playing every day. And somehow, some way, every year, that guy manages to start more often than not. It's confounding to me. Rolling with Rock. Perez is my guy, too. When they came up to Detroit last year, I had a fun interaction with him in the stands. Man, the bullpen, good guy. Looking forward to CNL stepping up. If CNL gets back to 2022 form, that makes this bullpen formidable. However you want to say it. Potato. They need Perez to be really, really good. Does signing Gibson limit the odds of an ace-type trade midseason? No. Eflin's only here for a year. Sagano's only here for a year. Morton's only here for a year. Gibson's only here for a year. If you can trade one or two of those guys and get yourself an ace and then some that's controllable, absolutely not. Gibson does not limit that. You have four guys in your starting rotation that are only here for really it's Eflin, Sagano, Morton. Yeah, you have four starting pitchers that are only here for this year. I don't think it has any impact. And I think that the Orioles will likely need to add an ace at the deadline. I don't know that they will. I mean, last year they added Eflin. He's certainly not an ace, but he was really good for them down the stretch. He was their best starter after they acquired him, sub-3 ERA. Daniel, did you see Bradfield yesterday? Pinch ran and stole second, stole third, and scored next to Patty. Walked, stole second, advanced to third on the ball that one-hopped the catcher and scored 0 bats, 3 stolen bases, 2 runs, 1 walk. It's like vintage Ricky Henderson. Yeah, dude, Bradfield, I'm getting more and more excited about Bradfield. I think he is severely undervalued. And I think that if Bradfield hits 250 at the big league level, he's going to steal 70, 80 bases and score 100 runs. I mean, that he's got special speed, and he might be the best defensive outfielder in the entire organization. I'm really excited about him, which is why I also think that Mullins' days are numbered in Baltimore. Randall, O should offer Seattle Mayo for Logan Evans or Pirates Sarah Jones for Mayo. I think Jones is experiencing some elbow discomfort or something. I saw something about him starting the year on the IL. But yeah, I maybe. I just think if they were going to do that, they would have already. That's how I feel about that. Birdland Network. I live in Florida and get the games on MLB Extra Innings on the MLB app. Yeah. If I lived outside of Baltimore, I have the MLB at Bat app. I would watch MLB TV or catch the Orioles that way. But I live in their region, so it's blacked out, which I think sucks. Maybe MLB is coming up with a plan to not black out games anymore. That would be awesome. We already pay for it anyway. We might as well be able to watch the Orioles. The all-new Masson app, 10 years old. I know, right? It's not 10 years old, but I get what you're saying. It's been around for 4 years, and it sucked all 4 of them. Direct-to-consumer option also ends blackouts too, right? If Major League Baseball agrees to it across the board with every team, yeah, it'll end the blackouts. They should have it already. It's stupid that games are blacked out. If people are paying you $100 a month, $100 or $140, however much it costs for the MLB app every year to watch these games, they should be able to watch whatever game they want. They should be able to watch whatever game they want. Randall, I should buy out Masson and structure their own viewing platform and pricing. If you got the money, man. If you got the money, I'm all for it. Uh-oh. He corrected himself. O's should consider buying out Masson and run their own. I mean, the O's own Masson. They already own Masson. They're not their own entity. Like they're run by different people, but the Orioles own them. It's they have their own people in place. It's like Steve Bisciotti owns the Ravens, and Eric DeCosta does all Steve Bisciotti's bidding. Bisciotti pays DeCosta. Rubenstein pays Elias. The Orioles pay people to run Masson, but they own Masson. The Baltimore Orioles are looking rough. I'm tired of the same old stuff. Let's go O's, damn. In spring? I mean, I remember a few years ago, the Orioles were like 26-7 in spring training, and it mattered not. I don't care what their record is in spring training, if that's what you're alluding to. Eflin, Morton, Sagano, Kramer, Povich, Gibson. they're not going to do a 6-man rotation. They already said they're not doing the 6-man rotation, Randall. So I think that Gibson is here to replace whoever they think ends up scuffling or whoever inevitably gets hurt. You look at Eflin. Eflin is he's never thrown 3 consecutive years healthy. Charlie Morton's 41. Sagano's 35. Never pitched in the majors. Kramer has been hurt or ineffective for stretches every season of his career. Cade Povich is a young guy. If he can't throw strikes, he can't be in the rotation. So Gibson is the fallback option here. I think that they are, if they were hedging their bets, I think they're hedging their bets with Gibson is basically what I think they're doing. We already talked about this. I suspect Grayson's head toward Tommy John. I hope not, but maybe, everybody gets it at some point. Birdland, I could also see this team go to the 6-man rotation. They're not going to do that. They didn't bring Gibson. If they weren't going to do that when they thought that Grayson was healthy, they're not going to do it now with Kyle Gibson. I just don't think they're going to do that. All right, guys, it's 6:50. We just moved into the new house. I'm responsible for dinner. I got to get out of here. But thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. So many people chiming in with some thoughts here. Really appreciate that. Appreciate Zach joining us for back-to-back shows. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you, we do not have a show. And thank you to all of our loyal viewers, listeners, fans. Without you, we 100% do not have a show. So thank you so much. Until Thursday, go O's. And until next time, see ya.